to everyone present here tonight in Malaysia. My name is Yu, and I will be your host for tonight. On behalf of the JPO family, we'd like to extend a warm welcome to everyone tuning in for tonight's broadcast. We hope that everyone is doing well and staying safe indoors. A friendly reminder to maintain good hygiene at all times and maintain social distancing when heading out. To anyone who's interested in sharing tonight's broadcast, a live feed is being shared on the JPO YouTube channel. Do like and subscribe to the channel so you can receive live notifications. If you have any question you'd like to ask, please feel free to type them out in the Q&A section down below in Zoom and the chat box in YouTube. A recording of the webinar will also be uploaded onto the channel later on. A native of Penang, Kenny Oy is an active musician and art administrator in Asia. He has performed with various orchestras, chamber groups, and master classes in Malaysia, Singapore, Australia, Hong Kong, and many others. He funded the inaugural Penang International Brass Festival in 2019 and subsequently the Rondo production with the aim to develop Malaysia into a country which provides top-notch quality of music education and performance. His passion and effort have led to this recent achievement as one of the top 20 social enterprises in Australia and ASEAN, recognized by the Australian ASEAN Council by the Australian government. In the same year, he was selected as one of the 30 young music leaders by the Southeast Asia Directors of Music (SEDAM). In 2021, he was nominated as one of the Asia Youth Leadership Award by the ASEAN Youth Advocates Network. He has also appeared as a substitute musician with the Malaysian Philharmonic Orchestra. He was a scholar at the Yong Siu Tor Conservatory of Music, National University of Singapore, under the tutelage of John Dante and Lawan Rong from the Singapore Symphony Orchestra. Tonight's interview features Kenny Oy with his topic about from a school band trumpeter to an aspiring music leader. As our JPO family attendees are mostly students ranging from primary school to college, their parents and their teachers, the sharing of knowledge and advice you have for all of us is invaluable and greatly appreciated. The JPO is very honored to have Kenny joining in as our guest for tonight. I hope that you will all join me in giving him a warm welcome. Welcome, Kenny.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing?
How are you doing? Yeah, we're very happy to have you.
Thanks for having me too.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. So without further ado, thank you so much for joining us today. And to start off today's interview, what can you tell us about the video we had just watched just now?
All right. So mostly you have seen from the video is I'm the trumpeter, I'm a conductor, and the other part of the things that I have not shown in the video was that I'm also the social entrepreneur, so which is towards the business side of the art scene as well. Yeah, and then I mean you can see from the video it's mostly the past performances that we have all been through together with my friends all over the world, and this is the things that I really appreciate if we really can have it right now at this moment. And that's why I think that sharing that memory with you all could be something for me to cherish about as well. Yeah.
Right, nice. So is it like this time of the period where you guys go travel around together, like with the orchestra?
Yeah, I think most of the people will know that during summer and like from maybe June onwards to August, September is usually the schedule will be like quite packed, and then we usually fill out our holidays with orchestra performances and tours. Unfortunately, with the pandemic, we can do it, but we can do it online right now. Yeah, right.
Yes. All right. So, can you tell us about like did you come from a musical family? Because you said you're a trumpeter and you're doing like so much musical production and everything involved in music. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, the answer is no. I'm not coming from a musical family, so neither my father or my mother play any instruments. So I started my journey as a from a blank white paper from school band. I'm not a I'm not a prodigy. Yeah, so have not taken any piano lessons or like violin lessons before I went into school bands. Yeah, so I'm quite glad that I started off with a blank white paper at, I wouldn't say quite old, but I think usually 13, 14, that age. Some at the age where we are still we are able to accept and also receive a lot of information and know, and we started to know how to interpret the information and also to make it belongs to ourselves. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Like because you said that you don't come from a musical family. So is there anything that or anyone who inspired you to pick up the trumpet and play?
Yeah, this is a very funny story. So I doubt a lot of people will know that how usually school band directors pick instruments is that okay, so you have a long hands and then you play the trombone, and then if you're big in size then you play the tuba. So I'm obviously the opposite. So I'm quite small in size. So I play the trumpet, and then yeah, I would say the most influential person and the one who inspired me was the school band director, Dr. Woon Wen Kin. So yeah, he was the one um who sort of like assigned me to trumpet. But when I first started it, I wasn't really interested about like furthering more. If you ask me like back then in Form 1, like 13 years old, whether I know that I'm going to pursue music or not, the answer is definitely no. Yeah, because you know the Asian parents kind of mindset have incorporated in our mind that if you do music, then it's very hard to survive, right? Yeah, so did my parents, right? So I told them this is just an interest, things like that, and then after that, eventually it's not. So after 1 or 2 years of like hobbies kind of thing, and Dato Woon was the one who I believe some of the JPO members might heard of this name as well. Um, he was the one who started the music scene, the orchestra scene in Penang with a more experience and different change here. So we were under his directorship. So we were quite fortunate that we are able to expose to different kind of experiences. Like for example, he will introduce us to Penang Junior Orchestra, Penang Symphony Orchestras, and so forth and so forth. So these are those opportunities that he has prepared, I would say. He has prepared and also given to us as young musicians. And obviously he would also know that like this is not the road we are going into, like professional musicians. But he has always been holding into a concept where it's not to train going into orchestra is not to train you become a professional musician, but it's to build your character to become a better human being. So at first we don't really know, we didn't know about like his idea, his concept, right? So we went there, we went for rehearsals, and slowly we realized that the personalities and the attitude changes as we go along. Then especially in terms of collaborations and talking with people and following the conductors and time management. So there's a lot of characteristics and also some little stuff that we didn't even know that it really grows along that side until like we are like 5 years later or 10 years later we knew that maybe if I never joined, like if I didn't join the orchestra, I wouldn't be who am I today. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. It's very important because I'm not from the band back school, but I've helped out before because I played the double bass. So yes, I helped a bit, yeah, and I can see that how everyone is being trained. Like I have friends inside and I can see a total different character when they're in the band and outside the band. It's very interesting. And yeah, and yeah, and I have something that I'm very curious, because you've said that um um doing music now in Malay, not now, like doing if you're doing music or in the music field, like you won't be able to like survive. So did your family like supported you during, yeah, when you're going on with this process? Yeah.
Mm, okay, so I think there's a lot of fun stuff that I could share with you. So actually, before I went into music school, I actually did a diploma in accounting. So I hold a diploma in business accounting. Yeah, so that's the part of the road that my parents wanted, you know. So right after SPM or our Form 5, so I actually told them that I want to study music, but they say no, yeah, obviously. So and at that point, I wasn't sure that I am, you know, I'm off that standard to go for an audition. So I sort of like I also backed up a bit. That's why I decided to go as they wish to study a business accounting diploma. And at that time, my thought was, if I complete the diploma program, then I will try for my audition in music school. Then if I eventually I didn't, yeah, if I don't get it, then I still have another road to go, right? So it's always so that's another lesson learned, to have a backup plan. Yeah, I realized there's a lot of people, especially young musicians or young students nowadays. I'm glad that they stepped out from their comfort zone and told me that they want to study music. But I always ask them the same question, which is, uh, what if it doesn't work well with you? What is your backup plan? And often I get a, a blank face from them. I was like, so yeah, I guess everything you do, you need to have a sort of like a backup plan to, because nothing is certain, especially, you know, during this pandemic, everything could change like within a day, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like, so talking about orchestra or band, like what inspired you to further your orchestra experience? Because I know that you said that you came out from like from the band in school, but how about orchestra experience?
I would say, yeah, that's really a turning point for me, where I attended a concert by the Malaysian Philharmonic Youth Orchestra in Penang during one of their tours in 2000. I forgot that that's so many years ago. But in the concert, I remember they played Mahler Symphony Number 1, and I was totally stunned by the performance. It was absolutely stunning and fantastic. And right after that performance, I was like, I'm going to audition for the youth orchestra. And then that's my first go towards orchestra, and I did it within a year. So I started my journey in looking for teachers. I went down to KL to take lessons, and then yeah, regularly every month I took bus to and fro KL just to take lessons, and then I went for auditions. Yeah, I actually quite, I would say I'm really inspired by that performance at that time. Yeah, so that's what started my orchestra career.
Yes, yes, I do understand, because orchestra is playing in an orchestra is such a wonderful experience, and I love how no matter like how big or like the amount of people we have inside, but when the music is played, it's wow. Okay, yeah, it's a wow. And yeah, so what is your most memorable performance that you had like so far?
Mm, I think there's a lot, and I would say the most memorable one would be the, I would say, how should I put it? Okay, the very last tour that I had before the pandemic, which is the tour with the Asian Youth Orchestra, where we went to like 11 cities within 2 months. I would say it was a hectic journey. Yeah, so we were all in, our orchestra members were all together in rehearsals from Hong Kong to end of the tour for the entire 3 months. We spent all the time together. It was not memorable because of the the standard and the obviously this is one of them, but actually it's more of like the friendship and also the chemistry we generate over the course of 6 months from the 3 months from we know nobody becomes somebody else in our life.
Yeah.
And also it's really interesting where I went there from a very because for Malaysians we always think that from to work with Malaysians and Singaporeans is quite close already, right? Am I right? But when we get together with people from different countries and with different cultures, it's really a different experience where uh you will experience a lot of funny stuff like during rehearsals. You might see people like from the first day they might not know not very well versed in English, but at the same time over the course of 3 months they are you're super impressed with their improvements in terms of communications and playing always the best. And also why it is most memorable is really that we went on tour together, and in every single concert we have in different city we see different faces of audience and the feelings is different. And I remember at the end of our last concert in Tokyo, we played our last piece, Elgar's Enigma Variations, Nimrod. So that was the first piece we started in the rehearsal camp, and throughout the rehearsal camp we didn't touch that piece at all. Yeah, we never touch it until the end of the last concert. Yeah, and that moment was you can literally hear. So what I heard on stage is that the audience started crying, and then my friends around the orchestra started crying, like in so forth. But we still managed to play the entire piece well. Okay, so that's the first thing. Yeah, so I feel that it's very interesting that we bring music to every different corner of the world, and we get very different um, reactions. For example, in certain cities they might have full house, and in certain cities we might have like 50% of people, and this really reflects their culture and also how they perceive music as part of their life. And you can see some in some cities there are audiences waiting at the backstage door just to say hi to you, but we didn't even know them. Like we were surprised, like wow, because in Malaysia, we only went to backstage door to wait for our friends, right? Or to wait for concert reception, right?
Yes.
It's all about food. But there's nothing there. So, but they are still there to wait for our, like to say, thank you for bringing the music to us. I was like, wow, the experience is totally stunning and fantastic. The feeling is totally wonderful. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Normally, like for me, I only go to the backstage to see my friend take pictures and everything. But yes, it's a really
Mm.
good. So, what what is the achievement that you're most proud of as being a trumpeter?
Mm, I would say with the Malaysian Philharmonic Orchestra. So I'm fortunate to be part of their Malaysia tour, and also I was quite proud of that because I was able to take part in the tour when they were in Penang as well. So it's kind of like I'm back with my hometown with the nation's orchestra, and at that moment my parents finally saw what am I doing, because all the while I was performing outstations like in different countries, and they only see all the photos. Then they ask, what is Malaysian Philharmonic Orchestra? You say like, oh, you told me they are wonderful. What? It's all descriptive, right? Yeah. So at that concert, I got them like 2 concert tickets and some of one for my relatives. They all went to the concert, came to the concert, and they were like, wow, they finally see I'm doing something, like something that they can feel
Yeah.
in person. Yeah.
Nice. Like were they like will you say they're like proud, like very proud of you on like doing this and
I
see
think
after
so.
your performance? Yeah.
You have to ask them.
If you ever, I'm sure that they will be proud because yeah, not many young musicians can how can I say it? Like a lot of people, they want to do music, but it's really hard. But yeah, it's good and happy to see that they've like actually seen you. They went to your to the concert to see you play, and they feel that. Hmm. Yeah. So, do you like, since you're doing both orchestras and bands, like, do you conduct bands only or as well as orchestras?
I would say I before the okay, sorry, before I went to Singapore, I focus on bands only. So I conduct my school bands as like um to help them along, and also the Penang Wind Orchestra. And after I went to Singapore, I actually took courses, conducting courses in school. So we had the opportunity to learn about orchestra conducting, and also to conduct the orchestra like at some small occasions like master classes. Yeah, it was really fantastic, I would say. Like um, the the knowledge gain is really different, and also in terms of how we speak to the members also different, right?
Nice. Like, do you like volunteer to help in like the bands, like to go teach, or like were you how do you say, were you tutor or just like assistants or anything like back
Mm,
then?
it depends on which band, I would say.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, nice. Um, so, what's the difference in conducting bands and orchestras? Yeah, I think there's gonna be a very big difference.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a big difference, but there's a big difference between. So firstly, the instruments are different, and the sound are different. And as a conductor, the person who's standing in front, you need to know what sound you are looking for, and also I think the members do matters. Like if you are talking to the professionals levels or the students level, and also you need to tell them like very exactly what you want. So in terms of bands and orchestra, we need to know the different repertoire and the styles. Yeah, because an orchestra can play Beethoven, Baroque music, and classical music. But for a band, if they take Beethoven or Baroque music, they might interpret it differently. So the sound is different. And also, I would say the handling method would be different as well. So how we rehearse, how we teach them, how we send them the sound concept and the sound hierarchy. So whether you should listen to the strings first or listen to the clarinets first, it depends on bands and orchestras. And
Hmm.
but I think it all comes to the same concept that we are all playing music. So my concept is really straightforward, is that are you really making music or not? That's the very first step. Yeah.
Yes. So I have something here which just popped out. So would you need like, do you think that you need like some experience in playing like the strings orchestra, like in order to conduct and to lead the whole orchestra? Do you think?
You mean the symphony orchestra, right? Not just a
Uh,
string, right?
yeah, the whole orchestra, band and yeah, and strings together.
Yeah, I think definitely it is helpful to have both experience, so that in an orchestra setting what should you do as a trumpet player or as a clarinet player or as a tuba player. And then in a band setting, your role is different, but you still play an instrument, right? But your role has been changed like drastically. Trumpet might just play like long tones, and you have all the strings playing the melodies. These are the roles change. And then some people might not be able to adapt it quickly. So that's the thing that as a conductor or as a leader, you need to know what to tell them, but not just, no, stop playing this, stop playing this. This is really something that we need to tell them and explain to them, not just like scold them.
Mm, yes, yes, yes. Mm, would like, because it's mostly band, and I know that bands are always playing like lots of different kinds of music, genre, like yeah, the genre of music and different songs. So, do you conduct only classical music repertoire, or do you do anything like any more other stuffs?
Mm, I I don't limit myself in the genres. So in the video we have shown in the first 5 minutes is that I actually explore into contemporary and new music as well. So in school I help my friends to conduct the premiere of their compositions. So that's something that I realize is very important to have as well, because we have been playing a lot of Beethoven's, a lot of John Williams, and this music might eventually get very saturated in the scene, but we still need to get the young composers coming up. So that's why I'm willing to help them out also to learn how to bring a new piece. Like, you don't have a recording to refer to, you don't have any instructions, you can only speak to the composer on how to interpret the piece. So that's a very interesting learning process, and also to being able to present the piece in a way where the composer and I as a conductor wanted to. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Since talking about composing, have you tried composing? And yeah.
No, I think better not.
Yeah, I do understand it's not for everyone. Yeah. Um, so apart from performing and teaching, like, do you do anything else?
Yes. So I'm also a social entrepreneur. So I do a lot of business side of thing as well, and also on arts production. So in the photo you can see, I'm actually actively involved in a lot of productions in my conservatory while I was there. So I was a intern there. So there's a lot of events that I'm one of the most important person to deal with. So we run a lot of symposiums, concerts, and concert tours. So it involves a lot of knowledge about behind the scenes, like how we sort out the different cues. So it's really different. So that's a very, very, very interesting thing that I have learned when I was in Singapore, which Malaysians, I would say, rarely seen. So in Singapore, I would say in the rest of the world, every productions have been planned well. So at which point to show which musicians, or which point to open which door, these are all pre-planned. And this is the opera production where we did a Singapore premiere of Wagner's Die Valkyrie. So it's a semi-stage performance, but it took about 1 month of 6 months of actual preparation, but 12 months or more than that of conceptualization. So it was very interesting process where we get to know how these behind the scenes work, and also into very detail at which point of that opera we need to bring out a small cup of wine. It has been all pre-planned. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not sure whether it's just like different cultures, but I feel that it's um very insightful, and also will be very helpful if like we all have this knowledge as a musician, because musicians only know how to perform, right? But when it comes to organizations, it is totally different. Yeah.
Yes, yes, very, very different because being a player and being an instrument player and being someone who is doing the backstage and all the preparation, I can see that it's a very different thing. And what, because you're saying we're talking about this, so what brings you like into like production? Who, like, how did you find it?
I first started as a orchestra intern. So I managed the orchestra operations in our school. And then so I ended my internship with a concert tour to Korea. And I think uh about how do I find it, I would say it's really important. It's a really important skill that everyone should know about, because like for a musician, they just go on stage, but it takes a lot of people to make the chair, the stand, the score, the music happen on stage.
Yeah.
And then the music happens, right? So this is something that a lot of musicians, especially young musicians, they don't know about. And also regarding the professionalism. So for example, when we deal with professional artists, so I need to deal with them like on their schedules and their flights and even their meals, and even like I would like to share like maybe certain conductors, they need to drink a cup of tea at certain point. And they even wrote down in their contract that at every half an hour, I need to change a cup of tea. So these are the details that as an orchestra or a production team, we need to take a look about, because we don't want to lose contact with them. We are all in a good terms with the conductor, and we want them to come back. So we want them to feel good here, right? So yeah, from our end, it's really that we want the musicians and also the artists to be treated well and respected. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. It's very important. Not just, I think, not just professionalism. You said responsibility is also very, very important in every role. Yeah. So, can you tell us like more about like the social enterprises and compare it to conventional business model? Yeah.
All right. I could put it in a very simple term, which is the traditional business model focuses solely on profit making, right? For social enterprises, there are two types as well. One is not for profit, one is for profit. But both serve the same goal, which is to bring a positive social impact to the community now. So it can be focusing on like social empowerment, youth empowerment, zero hunger, zero poverty, gender equality. So there are different areas that each social enterprise will focus on. But all in all, it depends on whether the goal is to make profit or not for profit. But for my social enterprise, the L'Oreal Production is for profit. So we need to eventually split our profit into different directions. So we actually channel parts of our profits to help the community. So for example, to help the musicians or the underprivileged children to have access to music resources. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Um, like, what, like, why have you decided to venture into this path? Because it's not like a very, it's not everyone who would like to do it. But you've said that you've chosen like you went for the profit part. So can you tell us like more about this? Like, why have you decided to go into this path?
I think it plays a lot of um, more towards my personality as well. I like to be challenged. So going into the for-profit social enterprise, which means we have to balance both ratio, for-profit and also to non-profit side as well. So this is something that we have to manage, and my team and I has to think about like how we strategize our plans and our productions and our concepts. And the most important thing is that let those people, like the participants and the students who pay for our productions, who attend, to know that you are not just paying for yourself, you are actually paying for the other person as well. Because whatever you are paying, part of your registration fees are going to help those people who can't afford to pay a single cent. So this is why we want to convey, this is what we want to convey to the younger generations, that yes, you can enjoy the privilege, but we need to know whether the rest of the world or the underprivileged children, do they have the privilege for them. So we want to let them know that this is not something that meant to be double standard. So music is not just belong to the upper or middle class of the society,
Mm,
but it belongs to everyone. Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. Yeah, and you've said this, so it's it's good because it's just like how we JPO are doing like some of the things we're kind of doing now, like helping people, and not only like middle upper class people can enjoy music or any other productions and everything. So yeah, like, do you have any upcoming plans like with your production, the Rondo production, or do you have, yeah, do you have anything
Mm, yeah,
coming up?
so we just concluded our annual festival, which was supposedly be physical festival, but we decided to transform it into a digital platform. So we ended this festival in June, where we actually have 300 attendees and from 13 countries. So over 4 days, I think they have learned a lot from different speakers and different artists. But I think the most special thing is that everyone gets an individual lesson. So there's an experience where a lot of people they say, oh, this is something that I've not experienced before. So this is something we want them to realize that everyone can get an individual lesson. You don't have to travel very far apart, but we bring the artist to you. And then following up, we have a masterclass series with one of the world's famous and also the world's first reed quintet from the Califax reed quintet from the Netherlands. So it's something that we want to bring in as a new concept to introduce masterclass in a very different concept where through a digital platform as well. So the participants get to perform and the observer gets to ask questions and also interact during the session. So it's going to happen across end of October to end of September. Yeah, so each week we focus on one instrument only. Yeah.
Nice. Very nice, very nice. Um, so in all like in your sharing, like everything, is there anything else like you're currently learning or have learned from?
I I would say that there's a lot, but I will name a few. So since the pandemic started, I think that as a musicians, we need to know. I mean, not just for a musician, as a person, instead of staying at home, right, like looking at the TV or looking at the music stand and then just practice the whole day, I feel like I should do something else. So I venture into different skills. So first of all is the digital marketing side as well. The second thing is the graphic design. And then it leads me into web design. So, and then I'm now currently learning how to code as well. And there's a lot like, small skills that we have gone through as well. Yeah. So I think keep learning will be very beneficial, especially we are now staying at home. Yeah.
Good, good. So, as you may have heard, Jesselton Philharmonic Orchestra has involved itself in a variety of activities. So, on behalf of the JPO, we would like to ask your views on the activities we're doing now and we've done before. So, additionally, how would you suggest the JPO and its members like to further improve itself?
Mm. Yeah, first of all, I want to say like very, very grateful for JPO for doing all these initiatives during this period, especially the broadcast where you all invited different guests. So I think the most important advice I would give is that always stay curious and also um, be motivated at all times. So with all the initiatives JPO has been bringing all this while, it has enough content to keep a student or a normal person going, like stay motivated every week. So every week you tune in for a broadcast. I'm sure in every broadcast there might be something you can take away, like at least one advice from different speakers, and then 1 year you might have collected more than 100 advice, and you can compile them and become your own words, something that motivates you all the time as a musician. And I think, yeah, I think that's the most important thing. And also, be okay. How should I put it? I would say be thankful for everything we have right now. Yeah. So try to be proactive in also engaging in activities, in also in conversations, something that you just don't stay at home and do nothing basically. Yeah, if you need something, I'm sure if you need help, if they need help, they can just turn up to anyone, for me, message me or message the JPO, like anyone else that you know that has slightly more experience than you. I'm sure they are more than happy to help them. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you very much. So now we're moving on to the Q&A section. So if anyone have any questions, please do type out and we will try and answer everything as like in like how we can. So is there any questions coming? Oh, okay. Nice. Oh, so it's from Andrew Filmer. So he's asking, you've taken a less than usual career path. For those who are considering whether to become a professional musician, what's your advice? Like, be creative with options or considering teaching as the career?
Hello, Andrew. Yeah, thanks for the question. I would say be creative with options. So, um, uh, with Andrew and also a few of our friends, we have actually started the Southeast Asia Music Academy online as a platform for teachers and also for musicians to learn how to teach and also how to develop themselves professionally. So for young musicians or for someone who are considering to be a professional musicians, yeah, be creative with options. So don't restrict yourself within like a single path that I am the orchestra musician. So imagine if you said that in last year, then your goal has gone already because you don't have the opportunity with the lockdown. How can you be an orchestra musician, right? Yeah, so I think the pandemic has taught us a very, very invaluable lesson that be adaptable and also be creative and always open for any suggestions and recommendations. Just try it out first, and then it might not work after some time, but that's fine. But the first step is to try out first. Yeah.
Yeah, always step out from the comfort zone. Yes, yes. So here, someone so hi Kenny, if you need to make a choice, are you more in favor or of concert band or orchestra? If so, why?
Do I need to make a decision now? uh, I would say orchestra. Yeah. Uh, why? It's very simple. It gives us um, more choices of repertoire and also more opportunities. It opens up more opportunities. Yeah. But if we want to like really differentiate both of these, I don't think it's quite useful because like nowadays we have different kind of ensembles coming up. So they are not just restricted to concert band orchestra. There are chamber orchestra. There are some instrumentations that we have not seen before, and the composers did this because they rearranged some Beethoven symphonies into chamber orchestra method just to fit in this pandemic, and these are something that we have not taught before, and like even Beethoven himself like have not expected, like, oh wow, or maybe Beethoven did want a chamber orchestra, but we don't know, right? So this gives us a lot of like rooms to imagine and also to experience with our creativity. Yeah. So with concert band, of course we can do this as well, but the instruments are quite limited. So when we want to try certain sounds, it's always about like choosing different texture and timbre of sounds, right? Yeah. So with band, then there are some limitations. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. So, isn't orchestra playing demand less playing time than the concert band? Like, would you like to share your views on this one?
Okay, I think the answer is no. I would say they they require the same amount of preparation time if we really take into a very, very detailed preparation, score study, um, listen to recordings, listen to every parts. So these are something that for a person in a concert band, from a student might not aware. So I just take the score and then I put on my stand and I went to band practice and then I take out my instrument and then I play. But this is something that, I mean, even in orchestra, some students might do this as well. This is the role of the conductor, of the director to tell them on what they should do. Listen to recording, not just one, but a few, and then pick the one that you like the most and tell us why. This is something that everyone can do at home. You don't need your instrument. But this is a question where I would say almost 50% of students they couldn't answer this as well as at all. And then when we talk about like orchestra or band playing, it's just, I would say in terms of preparation and playing is the concept is the same. How you, for example, if you are playing in a professional band and a professional orchestra, they play the same, right? But you do the same work, so you have to behave professionally as well. right? Yeah, so it
Yes.
shouldn't be a comparison. Yeah.
Yeah, but would you like, but you have like more rest or just playing in orchestra?
Okay, if we look at let's say orchestra, obviously for bands, maybe not so much of a rest time, but orchestra, yes, we need to count a lot of bars. But in between those bars, there are two types of people. One type of the first one is they will just let the music go, and then they just count the bar. The second type is they listen what are the rest playing, what is happening during the rest. So I'm the second type of person. So even let's say if I have 300 rest bars, I will write down in my scores that what happens at what time. So I will break them down into parts, like from part one, let's say the first rest bar to the 50 rest bar is about what, who is playing the melody. So that keeps us awake, you know. If you are just counting bars um on the stage, it makes no feeling, I would say. Yeah, unless you are very, very familiar with the piece, then that's totally fine. Yeah.
Yeah, so I assume that you're good in counting bars and this.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm not a tubies, so I think the tubies should have more experience than me. You know?
Yes. All right. Yeah. Um, good to hear and learn from you. Do you have anything else like you would like to suggest or to tell or advise? Like any one of the important advices you can bring and give to all the young aspiring musicians?
Mm, I would say the last piece of advice would be uh, understand the value of the art and the music. So I would say the problem that I've seen in Malaysia is that a lot of people still asking for free concert, free lesson, free masterclasses. So when we tell them that these are all paid events or paid classes, they were all very shocked. And this is very wrong from a point of view because the musicians or the teachers or the artists, they need to survive. Same goes with your parents, right? Working in other fields. So why are we being categorized in the free category? Am I right? We use all the all our efforts to pursue the music degree, and we went trainings, we purchase our instrument, and all we ask for is just the hourly teaching fee. Am I right? Yeah. But oftentimes we get some, oh wow, I'm not going to pay for this. This is something that we need to, as a whole community, we need to adapt to. I wouldn't say adapt, but to learn about this, to change. Yeah, nothing. I would say nothing is free in this world. Everything, whenever there's a free thing, it comes with something to exchange. Even like,
Yeah.
even like for example, okay, you attend a master class, I give you for free, you share something for me. There's something of exchange, right? Yeah, it's not free. You are not paying the monetary value, but you actually exchanging something with the for the master class. So nothing is free, I would say. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much for this one last piece of advice. And thank you for all your responses during the interview. But I'm sorry, everyone, we're coming to the end of tonight's broadcast. We would like to remind everyone that our JPO family program will be broadcasted twice a week until further notice. Join us next time with our next guest, as will be posted near the time. More details can be found on our Facebook page. A video recording of tonight's broadcast will also be available on the YouTube channel along with the past webinars and soon to be broadcasted interviews. So feel free to share the Zoom webinar registration link, JPO YouTube channel, and the JPO Facebook page with friends and family. For our YouTube audience, if you're enjoying our program, please show your support by pressing the like and subscribe button down below. You guys have been an amazing audience. We from the JPO family wishes that everyone stays safe and healthy as facing this crisis together. So now I will lead the prayer to end tonight's program. Please pray in whatever faith you believed in regarding the COVID-19 pandemic. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you very much for giving us this time and this wonderful time during this interview. I pray that you bless Kenny in everything he do, and in all his career, music path, and everything, no matter like now, present, or future. We pray that everyone's staying strong during this pandemic and giving us strength to overcome this difficult time now. And we pray for the frontliners and those who must travel to work. As God, you provide protection and healthy bodies to fight this pandemic together. I thank you, Lord, for everything you provide. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So, thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. And thank you, Kenny, for sharing such a wonderful topic with us tonight. We'll see everyone next time. So, good night, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone.